Okage Shadow King is a game released in the early days of the PlayStation 2 lifespan. It was initially released in Japan in 2001 as Boku to Maou, and it suffers from issues that were normal for games from that time. For instance, the graphics are very simple, the battle system lacks creativity, and the camera is a real mess. It barely takes advantage of the more powerful hardware of the PlayStation 2 either. For those reasons, this game may feel dated for today's standards. With that said, Okage Shadow King still became one of my favorite games of all time, and that's because it's a really unique experience. Most people will describe it as being similar to Earthbound, and if by that they mean it's bizarre, crazy, funny and very heartwarming, I will have to agree. But this game has so much charm and such a powerful message behind its characters and story, that I think this description doesn't do it justice. The story is about a very unremarkable boy named Ari. He doesn't talk much, and people have a hard time to notice he's around. You can say that his presence is like a shadow, which is quite ironic because his shadow gets possessed by an evil king named Stan. That's all because of a contract that he made to save his little sister from a terrible curse. The Pig Latin Curse. A curse that makes you talk only in Pig Latin. However, the evil king became very weak because of the many years he spent sealed away in a bottle. And to make matters worse, his powers were stolen from him and shared between many fake evil kings who are spreading terror across the land. So, in order to fix this, Ari is forced to set on a journey to defeat all the evil kings and retrieve Stan's powers from them, so he can eventually take over the world. Along the way, they find many odd allies, such as a legendary hero who fights with a parasol, a mad scientist, and a demoniac pop idol. Just from this basic setup, you can already tell that Okage has a very unusual adventure story. But it's far more than that. For example, the game is constantly breaking the fourth wall. When you least expect, Ari's lack of presence will actually play a big role in the main plot and in the gameplay. And it doesn't end there. Even normal character titles such as Villager, Hero or Princess are far more important than you might expect, in a very bizarre way. By the end, Okage kinda becomes this big journey of self-discovery, if that ever makes sense. It's a very effective story though, especially because of its sense of humor and its absurdly charismatic characters. To compensate for its simplistic graphics, Okage uses a very distinctive visual style, which makes the game look pretty much like one of those animated movies by Tim Burton. This gives the game a very unique atmosphere. It will most likely look completely different from anything you have ever seen before in any other RPG. In comparison with most current RPGs, Okage feels like a very short game, but there is lots of care for every single little detail in this world setting, so nothing feels generic or simple. The game flow is very linear, but there are many secrets and optional stuff to do. Even talking with normal NPCs can be really fun, because they always have something new and funny to say. This game also feels pretty crazy at times. For instance, there is a whole town dedicated to gears. The gate is made of 2 giant gears. There is a club for gear-loving people. And the music has lots of mechanic sounds. By the way, the soundtrack is one of the most unique aspects of the game. Take the music from Tenel Village for example. Since this is the very first village in the game where the main character lives, you would expect its music to sound something like this. But in reality, the music in Tenel Village is like this. Also, the BGMs for each town slightly changes when you are inside or outside buildings. It's like Super Mario World when you get to ride a Yoshi, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this is kind of a dark, dumb and negative song, and it would probably fit better as a theme song for a comic relief character, and I still love it. Actually, This music is a perfect fit for this village, because every single person living there is a comic relief character. All the other tracks in the game are weird like this, and they still fit somehow. Unfortunately, the one aspect that could be much better is the battle system. In this particular case, it's just a generic turn-based battle system with not much thought put into it. Except for one thing. From time to time, Stan will ask you your opinion about a trivial matter. And if your answer manages to please the evil king, he will release a super strong attack at every single enemy on screen right at the beginning of the battle. Yeah, it's very silly. And funny, which is why I also love this. Okage Shadow King recently got re-released for the PlayStation 4 for only $10, and it has a HD filter that makes the graphics look much better. If you love games with a sense of humor, unique visuals, and big sentimental messages, this is the game for you, especially if you like fourth wall breaking jokes. That's it for this retro review, but if you got any questions or opinions to share about this game, just leave a message. Thank you for watching. Bye!